I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I'm recording this right before my flight, but don't exactly know what to expect. I don't know how people are gonna react either. Fingers crossed it goes well, and yeah, see how it goes. So my first day in Vegas was absolutely incredible. I got to put a lot of faces to names that I've been talking to for a few years, and we went around as a group to start exploring Vegas. Now shout out to 𝗕𝗿𝗏𝗏𝗏, he actually showed us a local comic shop called Cosmic Comics that we went to our first day. This place was loaded with some cool stuff. We had some lunchbox collectibles. They had a whole figurine wall of things I wanted to take home, but I couldn't. And while our plan was to hop from shop to shop, we actually ended up spending our entire time there. I was actually really happy to have finally gotten a number of the Disney 100 comics from this shop. Now the group eventually ended up on Fremont Street, and this is where we would spend a lot of our time during this trip. Fremont is going to be one of the main downtown entertainment sections for tourists. It's where you're going to see a lot of shops, casinos, and street performers. There was actually a zip line at the top as well that Video Shane, Oz, and Mission all did together. Now around the corner from Fairmont and where all these performers were, and I must say there were some very interesting performers, there was a restaurant that we found ourselves at a couple times, and that's because they had some vegan options for those in the group, called Nacho Daddy. And on top of the great food, this is where we would get disappointed by the Mike Tyson and Jake Paul fight, and it's also where I got to meet people like Fro and Anon. Now for the most part, this is what we did day one. I believe we also visited a diner earlier that morning that Arcade showed us. But in terms of day 2, 3, and so on, they kind of all merged together here. So I'm just gonna start explaining everything that we did on the trip, but it might not necessarily be in order. But next day was DCON VIP day, and my goodness, did we not only see a lot, but we got to meet a lot of cool people both in the community and artists. Now for anyone who hasn't been to an event, I've said it before, I'll say it again, just get to one.
Let's go!
There was so many things that happened at this event that I did not expect. From the type of art that I saw to vendors there, like NASA. I was also gifted some items from some booths as well, like this 𝗖𝗵𝗵 card, which I want to give a shout out to them because not only do they have an incredibly high quality product, but I also had the pleasure of meeting the owner of the company, and he's a young guy. Passionate, successful, grinding to make a name for himself, and I'll tell you what, he's doing exactly that. He's got licensing deals with Disney and Marvel. I'll toss it on screen now, but this guy ended up handing me one of his packs. It was a blind box. I opened it up, and this was the card I got inside. But like I said before, super high quality, fully engraved metal, encased in like a CGC case. They're based in Hong Kong. The product's actually sold out at the moment. But whenever they get more in stock, I'm hoping to do some blind box openings with these guys in the future. Another major highlight from the event was meeting some of these artists. Shout out to 𝗕𝗵 from 𝗬𝗏 and shout out to the London Police. Both those projects have incredible teams. And on top of that, I also got to talk to 𝗕𝗏𝗏𝗿, Alison Bamcat, Ron English, Luke Shui, Nina, and a few others from VeVe as well. And some of whom came by Arcade's party. 𝗕𝗵 in particular is going to be somebody I am going to do a full video on. This man's impressive, he's passionate about his work, and his background extends further, much further, than the IP he just dropped on VeVe. He has sculpted and modeled collectibles for Jermaine Rogers, Ron English, he's actually sculpted the supersized piece, and his mentor is Frank Kozik. So I hope to share a lot more about him and his team in an upcoming episode. Chris Brown also stopped by the event. He was doing some signings at an Astro Boy booth, and by the way, some of those Astro Boy collectibles were insane. Also finally got to meet Kryptoni, one of Chris Brown's producers, who was walking around the event handing out some of his own VeVe merch. Now after our time at DCON the first day, Mission, Oz, and I all hopped in Guri's rental car to knock off something on our bucket list. Check it out. So Pawn Stars is a show that I watched with my parents growing up, and it ended up being a full circle moment. The moment you walk in, you recognize the shop. Luckily, they didn't change really anything about the layout. And on top of all the historic items that have come and gone through that building, there were a lot of them still in it. So we had a Taylor Swift guitar, we had an authenticated letter from John Gotti, the mob boss from New York. There was a PSA 10 Charizard. There was some KAWS and Banksy pieces in the back as well. They had old guns from the Civil War and old swords from before then. So it was really cool to walk into the shop that I've seen so many times on TV as a kid growing up. Now the next day I went back to DCON to make a few more rounds at the booth. I also went back to Klim's booth to get his reaction after the drop that had happened for him on VeVe that morning. I talked with a few more artists, grabbed a few more pieces, and then I went back to Fairmont to meet up with Hanano and D before 𝗕𝗏𝗏𝗧𝗏's party. Now, 𝗕𝗏𝗏𝗧𝗏's party was an absolute blast, and shout out to 𝗖𝗵𝗵 for hosting it at his bar as well. The time and effort that 𝗕𝗏𝗏𝗧𝗏 put in to make this happen has gone unnoticed, and I really want to stress this because this guy had art displayed everywhere. He had packages for collectible giveaways. Some of the licensors, like Klim, for example, from 𝗕𝗏𝗏𝗧𝗏, actually came by and handed a box of his collectibles as giveaways for the event as well. There was a game that 𝗕𝗏𝗏𝗧𝗏 ran, and all of the, it was kind of like bingo, but with collectible display photos. And all the display photos were organized and created by 𝗕𝗏𝗏𝗧𝗏. The names were as well. He put so much time and effort to run this event. Even afterwards, the next day, he was tattooing people for hours on end. I also have to give the biggest bro some flowers here as well, because he did show up to the event early to help set up. And if you guys haven't listened to his speech already, here it is. Spoiler alert, he nailed it.
So I'm going to tell you.
Preach it, brother!
Amen. This is the community event. All that is needed is each and every one of you that makes our community fucking great.
Oh!
I look at each and every one of you, and I already gave all of you motherfuckers a hug or something. I said something to you because I mean that shit from the bottom of my heart. I promise you. But I'm here to tell you why we are all here today, and one of the reasons why we're here is because of this man behind me, 𝗕𝗏𝗏𝗧𝗏. This man has asked for nothing, but has given his all to all of us. Over 10,000 motherfucking NFTs have been given out to the community from this one man.
Address after address.
No motherfucking AI needed, none.
100 comments.
Not him. All from the heart. This is all the art you see behind me is all from this man's creation, his imagination, and everything. Everything that you're going to be winning tonight, and by I say, the prizes are immaculate, are from the community. Yeah. Do you hear me? From the community, from people that wanted to spread the love and cheer, and that is what this night is about. Ladies and gentlemen, look around. Look at each and every one of you. We're all from the fucking internet. Here we are, Phygital, in the fucking flesh. I see, this is fucking day right here. The fucking army homies out here. Yeah. The community is here. D and fucking Hanano are here. And that's the beauty of all this, all the different people. Fucking Crypto Rain is here, no problem. Everybody's fucking here tonight. I love this shit. But let me introduce you to the man, the myth, the fucking legend. He hails from Las Vegas, Nevada.
Los Angeles.
Oh, man!
Born in East Los Angeles. I got you.
Los Angeles.
I got you. You're here for him and give it fucking up for 𝗕𝗏𝗏𝗧𝗏.
Now, after 𝗕𝗏𝗏𝗧𝗏's game, the karaoke kicked off, and we had a number of people up on stage, from the bartender to Oz. We had KC, we had Casual, the biggest bro. We had all kinds of people from the community grabbing the mic. Now, the next day, we didn't have too much sleep, but we definitely ate a lot and drank a lot of water. Now, before 𝗕𝗏𝗏𝗧𝗏 had to go and finish up some more tattoos, he actually handed us the keys to his house so we could come and go as we please. And I gotta say, little things like that is what made the experience so unique. So again, man, if you're watching this, thank you so much. This is when I got to see the setup in real life. And on top of the setup we see behind camera, Arcade has so many cool art pieces around his house as well. Now from Arcade's house, VeVe, Oz, and I actually Ubered over to the Vegas Strip. And this would be the first time during our trip where Oz and I actually got to see it. Huge shout out to VeVe. This is a man who's been to Vegas before, actually earlier this year as well. And he was our tour guide. He showed us all the cool spots and we got to walk through all the major hotels. We're talking Caesars, the Venetian, New York, Paris. And we got to see the canals with the Venice skies inside the Venetian as well. All incredible and a great way to finish the trip as well. Now this would actually be a couple hours before VeVe's flight, so he actually ended up parting ways here. But it was really nice because Oz and I actually got to spend some one-on-one time, which we had yet to do really on that entire trip. And as many of you guys know, him and I co-host the VeVe Weekend Show on Sundays. So we continued walking down the strip. This was also during a time where the F1 track was actually being installed, so the water in front of the Bellagio was actually drained. We didn't get to see that, but we actually got to drive on the track, which was cool. There were also some F1 booths set up on the side of the strip that we got to explore, one with an F1 car and an electric robo-taxi in it.
Very cool. Each tablet you can control HVAC for your specific seat, as well as music. If you feel sick, you can pull over, emergency rider up ahead. Exactly. And then the little black pads are actually wireless chargers as well. Oh wow. Yep. Got the Starry Night headliner. Yeah. It's like a Bentley wood, a lot of think of a luxurious feeling to it.
So how far off do you reckon something like this is going like mainstream? Like how many years is it going to take for cities out on the screen?
2025, we're gonna.
Oz and I would spend the rest of our afternoon on the strip before Ubering back to Kid Arcade's house. 𝗕𝗵 also ended up coming by. So Oz, him, Arcade, and I all had a lovely conversation a couple hours from my flight at that point. So before I finished the trip, Arcade took Oz and I to a nice little burger joint in town. And from the restaurant, we finished our night at a pinball arcade, which was absolutely wicked. We had Indiana Jones machines, Deadpool machines, IP of all kinds. But I'll toss the footage on screen now, guys. I'm sure some of you guys know a lot more about this stuff than I do, but it was really, really cool. And again, shout out to Kid Arcade for showing us spots like that, because we definitely would not have been there if it weren't for him. So we finished the night by playing some games until the machine started turning off. And from there, Arcade was kind enough to drive me to the airport, where I flew home. We have Osman, Hanano, D, the biggest bro. We have Arcade, Shawnee, 𝗕𝗵, Fro, Anon, Mission, Guri, Video Shane, Cricket, and anyone else I'm missing. I apologize if I am. I just want to say thank you guys so much. My trip would not have been what it was if it weren't for you guys. And I was explaining to all you guys just how nervous I was. So yeah, thank you guys so much for being so welcoming. And again, to anybody who is considering doing a trip in real life, just rip the Band-Aid off. I promise you, it's worth it.